Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Ronald, I'm from 360 Creators, and in this video I would like to explain to you how to export your 3D Vista Virtual Tour. Well, that's pretty easy. Publish, web mobile, check off all these boxes and publish. Then you get this folder with all these subfolders and all these files, and that can be a lot of files because some tours might be 1,000 files and a few megabytes, but some might be 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 gigabytes, and you have 100,000 or 500,000 files. And to upload all of that through some FTP, FileZilla stuff is quite a lot of work. Now, I'm going to break it all down. The first objective of this video is just to get it online in the first place. And in another video I would like to explain how to synchronize uploads really fast. We have this big folder of all these files, and then we need to select some data center to host our files with. There are a lot of data centers out there, Google, Amazon and many more. The thing is, usually data centers are pretty unclear about their pricing, and they have certain schemes and techniques to get you inside some sort of whatever pricing scheme, and it sounds all really cheap in the beginning, but at some point it might get really expensive. Now, Hetzner is one of those hosting providers that I feel very comfortable with. They seem to be very clear about their pricing and very reasonable with their pricing. That's why I'm going for Hetzner. I'm going to use Hetzner, let's see, like so. Combined with Cloudflare. I've registered a cheap domain name, amazingtutorials369.uk. Cost me $5 for a year, and for the purpose of this video I thought it was worth it. Then we're going to use Coolify on the Hetzner cloud, and this is going to be, if you're familiar with Heroku, Netlify, Versal, like that, but a lot of 3D Vista people are not familiar with those things because this is a very kind of developer kind of thing around here. But that doesn't matter because Coolify is made so easy to get your open source projects on there, and that is really exciting. But more about that and later in other videos. For now I'm going to quickly use this and set this up and show you how easy it is to deploy something like Minio, which is an open source S3 bucket system. So this is something you can install with Coolify on your Hetzner server on a custom domain registered on Cloudflare. That's the idea. I hope I'm not overwhelming you guys. Let's get started. So I already got the exported files in my folder, but I already set up the Hetzner account and the Cloudflare account and registered the domain name over here. That's it. That's all I've done to prepare this video. Other than that, everything's empty. So I'm going to create a new project. I'm going to call this Amazing Tutorial. In this amazing tutorial, I'm going to add a server. For Americans, I would pick the server that is closest to you or where your client is. That is definitely recommended. In my case, it's going to be Falkenstein. Over here, we select an OS image. We just keep that the same, Ubuntu, it's fine. It sounds really complicated. I'm gonna get you through that stuff. So the shared vCPU, we click on this. By default it selects x86. Just keep that as is. You can start with the lowest of everything for €3.98 per month. And something you gotta understand about this is you select one and you can always scale it up. So you can always increase the amount of RAM or vCPUs, like those kind of parts. The SSD, I believe not. That is the only part but you can do that with a volume or something. But I'm not gonna overcomplicate it right now. But what you gotta keep in mind is that you can cancel this at any time. So if you cancel this VPS from Hetzner after one day, you only pay €3.98 divided by 30 days is, I don't know, like 20 cents or something like that. I don't know, but like that amount is what you pay then. And so if you set up multiple VPSs, okay, that's the amount. But if you cancel it again, it only calculates how many hours you've used the server. So that is, I think, pretty nice, because it's very clear. You get a certain amount of speed with this stuff over here. And for now, what I think is most important to virtual tour creators is the amount of storage, and in this case SSD. So with this one you get 20 gigabytes, 40 gigabytes, 80 gigabytes. I'm gonna go for one little higher, the CPX 11. There's just a little bit more. I mean, it's about €1 difference. So I think it's worth it to go for this one. We're gonna go down. We keep this as is. Now with the SSH keys, it gets a little bit more tricky. It is recommended to do, it's a little bit more secure, but for the purpose of this video I'm going to keep this with a traditional password in the email. And so I keep this in mind as like a development server, and in another video I can explain how to set up the SSH key as well. So keeping this empty. Volumes I keep empty, firewalls, backups, it's all not so important for now. So call this amazing server, like so. And I'm paying like €5.26 because the IPv4, there's stuff of that, but yeah. So create and buy now. Now this is starting to spin up. And meanwhile, I'm going to open up the terminal. Now, this is the terminal with Mac commands. For Windows commands, I'm not entirely sure how different they are. I remember that a lot of people use putty or something like that. But if you're using Windows and you don't know how to continue, or you do know, leave it in the comments. So for now, we can see that the server is started and is running. It's great. Now we need to use the terminal to do something on the server. And when you start the terminal, you can see Ronald at Share Wisdom. This is the name of my computer. So right now, if I do something, I'm working on my computer, but I want to be working on the server. We're going to type in the terminal SSH space -L space root, because that's the username of default username of a new server, and then space, and then we type in the IP address 49.1.3.116.41. Enter. We copy paste the password that we just received over email. It asked me to change the password, so I'm going to paste the password again, and I'm going now to enter the new password. Something you gotta get a little bit familiar with is that in the terminal, if you type, you do not see an extra characters popping up. You gotta trust that you do it right. So, okay, I type in a new password. I type it in again, hit enter, and now we can see root at amazing-server. That's the name what we gave it in Hetzner. It's the same over here. And so now we're inside the server, and that is pretty cool. Why? Because now we can go to Coolify, and when you go to coolify.io, you click on self-hosted, and you just copy paste this line that you find over here, copy, go back to the terminal, paste, hit enter, and there we go. So right now it is installing the whole Coolify software onto the server, and we need to wait a little bit for everything to be finished. It's doing all kinds of things, but at some point it will just say, okay, here is the URL, the IP address with a port, and it might sound new to you, no worries. It's IP address, double dot, and then a number, and that's something you fill in the URL of your browser. Okay, so here it goes. It does all kinds of cool nerd things, and it's like, okay, what's happening here, right? I mean, that's the kind of feeling that I got once I got into this. All right, so it says congratulations, Coolify instance is ready to use. Please visit this to get started. So you can see the IP address of our server, double dot, and then 8000 is the port. So just go like this, open link, and there we go. So now we create an account, tutorials at 360creators.com, and we type in a password. We hit register, and now what we have is the admin account for the new tool Coolify in this case. Okay, let's get to the basics. You can go through this whole process. For now, here I would say, for the purpose of this video, localhost, like keeping it on the same server as Coolify is installed. Remote server is when we would go back to Hetzner and we would add a server and add another VPS. That's something for another video. For now, localhost. Okay, let's create a new one. Let's do it. And here we are. This is Coolify. There's a lot of cool things about this. I'm going to skip just to the part what we need for now in this video. And very shortly, an idea to give you before I do that. I'm just excited about this. So there is a lot of things on GitHub, and a lot of times that I saw a GitHub page, I thought, okay, cool, it's open source, it's on GitHub. I have no clue what to do. With Coolify, I can copy paste a link from GitHub and put it in there, and then it just installs all these things for me. Okay, there's still some learning here and there sometimes, but it's so much more simplified than, I mean, before I just had no clue how to get anything done with open source projects. But with Coolify, I do. And I find it really interesting because it's simplified to install open source things based on the open source software, because Coolify is open source. A lot of open source, I know. So, this is with all kinds of GitHub things that is on the internet, thousands of open source projects that you can just get on there. A lot more about that in another video or other videos. There's something about databases, still not super familiar with that in this area with these kind of terms. And there's the services. This is the most cool, the most epic thing about Coolify is you can click on one of those services, hit deploy, and it's online. And you've got your self-hosted, whatever, fault board and sync thing, N8N, Git, Pocketbase, Nextcloud. There's like a lot of those things. You just click on it and it's installed, and Coolify manages your project then for you. So you can enable, for example, auto updates so that it automatically updates, or you don't want to do that. So you get more in control of all your projects. Okay. Enough about that for now. I would like to have Coolify on our own domain. So I would like to have this on coolify.amazingtutorials369.uk and to be able to log in there. And once that is set up, I can also deploy something like Minio on minio.amazingtutorials369.uk. And the same for the presentation of the virtual tour link. So if you want to have something like tour.amazingtutorials369.uk / and then the name of the tour, that's what we want to head to, most of us. We need to have some things set up in Cloudflare. So in order to do that, we go to the settings, And right over here, we can type in https // and then Coolify dot, paste it in here. And I'm going to hit save. Now, I have saved it, but it's not going to work because I have not set anything in Cloudflare that Coolify.amazingtutorials is going to point to something. So what I need to do now is I need to add a DNS record. Add record, a record, call this Coolify, and here I'm going to point this back to the thing from the server. So this IP address, I'm going to copy, I'm going to paste that in here. So now when people go to coolify.amazingtutorials.uk, they will see this environment, but without the IP address and secured, so that there's not this HTTP stuff. I'm going to turn off the proxy. I'm going to put this on 1 minute and hit save. Okay. All right. As I was making this video, I figured that it was showing only HTTP and it was unsecured on coolify.amazingtutorials.uk. And what I forgot to do is to restart the server. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is the proper way to do it, but this is how I do it and how I got it to work. If there's a better way, let it know in the comments. What I did is over here, I click power off, I say okay, then it's off, and then just turn it on again, wait a minute or two or so, and refresh the page, and then you've got coolify.amazing.uk without the HTTP warnings and that things are not secure. So you need to restart the server. Now we've got Coolify installed on our own custom domain, which is amazing. The next thing we're going to do is over here, we're going to add another record. So we will add Minio, that's the tool we're going to use for the interface to log in and manage the buckets and stuff. And we're going to have one that is the public view of what you're going to share with clients, like tours.blablabla.com or S3 or whatever you like to have as your name there. So for now, I'm going to go start with Minio, keep the same thing, turn this off, turn this on 1 minute, hit save. I'm going to copy paste this again. I'm going to add a record, and I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to call this tours. But this is one you should choose whatever you want. This is the stuff you're going to share with clients. Let's see. Turn this off. 1 minute. Hit save. Alright, so now we got 3 records, one for Coolify, one for Minio, one for tours, where Minio is going to push the things to. Getting back to Coolify, we go back to the home, click on my first project, add resource, and we're going to look for Minio. Right over here, click on localhost, standalone Docker, and this is something, well, I'm going to call this just Minio, and the only things now to change is what we just set up over here. So we start with Minio. So over here, HTTPS, and then we take all of this and we say Minio dot, and then our domain name, whatever we have over here, .uk. And I'm going to do the same. I'm just going to copy, paste this over here, and this is what I'm going to be calling tours, like we said over here. All right. It automatically generates for me a Minio admin user and a Minio admin password, and that is all we have to do for this. So now we hit deploy. then you see this really particular terminal thing and you feel like a real coder guy, right? Like when you're not used to coding. At least I do. Every time I see terminal stuff, I'm like, okay. But that's part of the self-hosting experience. So I think it's done now, so I'll just hit close. And it says running, which is a very good sign. I'll go over to here, open application. And for some reason it doesn't show the correct URL. I'm going to refresh this. No, still not. Okay, so for some reason it's not accepting what I tell it to do. I'm gonna try it again. I think I already know what I just did wrong. I forgot to hit save, and then that's a little awkward. Okay, so I'll just hit save now. Yeah, and I'll just pull latest images and restart. Okay, I think I got it right now. So let's see over here. Yes. Okay, this is looking good. Yeah, you know, these things happen. So now we can click over here and we get our interface to log in as an admin user to our own self-hosted S3 bucket system. So copy, yeah, paste, and I mean I'm going to change this password anyway, so you guys can see it, it's okay. Hit paste, login, and here we are. So we have our Minio bucket thing. I'm going to create a bucket. I'm going to call this amazing tour. Everything's amazing when I'm working on things. All of this stuff, for now, just keep this off. Create bucket. I click on here. And we're going to the object browser, amazing tour. And here we are. So we go back to the Finder, all these virtual tour files that we have. And we just drag and drop this. In a future video, I'm planning to show you guys something that you don't need to drag and drop anymore, and that you can keep things in sync really, really fast. But that's for another video. So for now, okay, the things are uploaded, amazing. If you have a larger tour, yes, this is still going to take a while for the moment. All right, so we got this. Now what we need to do is that special URL that we created. So tours.amazingtutorials369.uk. We fill in this URL and then we say slash and then the name of the bucket, amazing tour, and then slash and then the file. In my case it's index.html, but for others it might be index.htm. I would recommend to stick with HTML. You can change that in the preference settings of FreeDVStar. So, like this, hit enter, and access denied. Yeah. I'll tell you why this is happening. It's because the whole S3 system is made in a way that it is secure and private. So stuff is not going to be online just as you upload things. So in order to put something like publicly, you need to say that it's going to be publicly. Now there are two ways to do it. For super lazy people that just want something to get done very quickly, you can go over here to the access policy and just hit public, hit set, and it's done. There's only one problem with that, is you're giving also the access, the ability for people to upload things to your bucket, and anyone on the internet putting things in your bucket, maybe you don't want to do that kind of stuff, right? Like, yeah, or at least put some quota to that. So I would not recommend doing this, but you know, sometimes you want to just do things quick. What we're going to do is we're going to go for custom, and we're changing this policy. I got this on a special thing over here, and it will just automatically type this whole thing. I'll put the link in the description for this policy. And the only thing you need to change is over here the name of the bucket. So this, double click, amazing tour, you hit set, and that's it. Now we go back to this amazing URL. We hit enter, and there it is. Beautiful, isn't it? It's so beautiful. Gosh. Yeah, so that's it. That's it for this video at least. In other videos, I'm happy to explain a little bit more about the SSH stuff, about keeping things in sync. So when you do an update from 3D Vista, that it's synchronized with the server like in seconds. You know, you change the button and you put it elsewhere, and it's just like done there. Like that's really exciting stuff. That's it. I mean, yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. By the way, if you decide to go with this and you feel like, whoa, this is really cool and amazing, I would highly recommend to consider giving a donation to sponsor Coolify. They're not sponsoring me. I'm trying to get them sponsored because I think what Andras Baksai is doing is really, really cool, and it's totally worth it to consider to spend, like, give like a €10 donation or something like that. So because Coolify is going to help me and you and many others in this world to have way more control over your projects, so that you can have your self-hosted open source tools installed on your own server, saving a lot of money, because there are a lot of tools out there that are charging money, which is just out of sync, you know, like the value a lot of times. And so open source makes a lot of sense in many ways, and Coolify is really simplifying the whole process of doing so, of using the stuff. So definitely go to their sponsorship thing, donate them €10 or something more or something less, whatever you feel like. Highly recommend it. So now really that's it kind of video. I'm really closing it down. Thank you for your attention. It's been very exciting to make this video. Have a great day.